What if I told you that the most expensive place to find food right now is the grocery store? Food prices are at record highs. Families who will be fine are not waiting for prices to drop. They are the ones who stopped depending on the store altogether. Today I will show you 10 crops that grow in your backyard, raised bed, or porch containers. Crops that cost almost nothing to start, come back year after year, and fed families through every war, depression, and famine. Stay until number 7. It grows in almost any climate, requires zero experience, and produces more nutrition per square foot. Number 10 will completely change how you think about the word perennial. Let's get into it. Here are 10 forgotten crops, ranked from practical to absolutely life-changing. Crop 1, Amaranth. The Aztec Empire ran on this plant. When the Spanish arrived, they banned it, destroyed fields, and made growing it punishable by death. That tells you everything you need to know about how powerful this crop is. Amaranth is one of the only plants with complete protein, all 9 essential amino acids. 1 cup cooked gives you 9 grams of protein, plus iron, magnesium, and calcium. Naturally gluten-free. Grows in poor soil, tolerates drought, ready in 60 to 90 days. 1 single plant produces up to 50,000 seeds. You can cook them like porridge, pop them like popcorn, or grind them into flour. The leaves are edible too. They taste exactly like spinach. If you're only going to add 1 new crop this season, start here. Amaranth asks almost nothing and gives back more. Crop 2. Moringa. This tree grows 10 feet in its first year. In warm climates, it produces year-round. In cooler climates, grow it in a large container and bring it inside for winter. Gram for gram, dried leaves contain more vitamin C than oranges, more calcium than milk, more potassium than bananas, more iron than spinach. The World Health Organization has documented its use as a nutritional intervention in food-insecure regions for decades. Every part of it is useful. Leaves eaten fresh or dried into powder that stores for months. Pods cooked like green beans. Seeds pressed for oil. A jar of dried moringa powder on your shelf is quiet, powerful food insurance. This tree asks almost nothing of you and delivers more than almost anything else you could plant. Crop 3 Lamb's Quarters. You have almost certainly pulled this out of your garden and thrown it in the compost. Lamb's Quarters grows in disturbed soil, fence lines, garden beds, vacant lots. Most people call it a weed. Indigenous communities across North America used it as a food source for over 8,000 years. Depression-era families ate it when crops failed and money ran out. It is high in vitamins A, C, and K protein content rivals spinach. Young leaves taste almost identical to spinach when cooked raw in salads, sautéed in oil, added to eggs, dried for later. 1 plant produces up to 70,000 seeds that stay viable in your soil for decades. Once it is in your garden, it returns every single year without you planting a thing. The shift here is simple. Stop seeing it as a weed. Start seeing it as free food that already knows where you live. Crop 4, Cowpeas, black-eyed peas. During the Civil War, Union soldiers burned Confederate food supplies. They ignored the cowpea fields, thinking they were animal fodder. That mistake kept an entire region alive. Cowpeas grow in poor sandy soil that defeats most other crops. They fix nitrogen, improving your land while they feed you. Heat tolerant. drought tolerant, ready in 60 to 90 days. One cooked cup delivers 13 grams of protein and 11 grams of fiber. Dried seeds store for years with no special treatment. You can cook them into soups, mash them into patties, or grind them into flour. If your soil is struggling, cowpeas will grow anyway, and they will leave it better than they found it. Real quick, if this kind of content is useful to you, hit the like button right now. It takes 1 second, and it tells this platform that practical, forgotten knowledge like this is worth putting in front of more people. Subscribe and turn on notifications. Every week we cover crops, plants, and natural solutions that most people have never heard of. You do not want to miss what is coming next. Back to the list. Cewii Purslane. NASA studied this plant for long-duration space missions. Purslane grows in sidewalk cracks, garden beds, neglected corners of yards. In the United States, almost everyone discards it. In Greece, Turkey, India, Mexico, and across the Middle East, people have been intentionally eating it for thousands of years. Here is why. Purslane contains the highest omega-3 fatty acid levels of any plant ever analyzed. The same omega-3 most people spend money on fish oil supplements to get. It is also high in vitamin C and E, rich in melatonin, and contains significant glutathione. You do not plant it. It plants itself. The leaves and stems are succulent and slightly tangy. Excellent raw in salads, sautéed quickly in butter, or pickled for preservation. The most expensive nutrition in your garden is often the plant you keep throwing away. Crop 6, Jerusalem Artichoke. Not from Jerusalem. Not an artichoke. It is a native North American sunflower that produces knobbly underground tubers, tasting like a cross between a potato and a water chestnut. During World War II, when rationing made staple crops scarce across Europe, families planted these everywhere. Easy to grow, no fertilizer needed. Left in the ground and harvested through winter. Jerusalem artichokes are exceptionally high in inulin, a prebiotic fiber that directly feeds your gut bacteria. A healthy gut microbiome means stronger immunity, better mood, reduced inflammation, and more stable blood sugar. Modern science has spent 20 years confirming what these families already knew. You plant 10 tubers and harvest 30 to 50 pounds. The plant grows 6 to 10 feet tall. Once established, it is nearly impossible to remove, which in a survival garden is exactly what you want. Leave them in the ground. Harvest as needed. The earth is your root cellar. Crop 7 Quinoa. Here we are. Number 7. The Incan Empire was built on this crop. They called it Chisea Mama, the mother of all grains. Grown above 12,000 feet in brutal cold and poor soil. When the Spanish arrived, they did exactly what they did with Amaranth. They banned it, destroyed the fields, made cultivation illegal. It survived in remote Andean villages for 500 years. When food scientists finally analyzed it, they confirmed what those farmers never forgot. Complete protein, all 9 essential amino acids. High in fiber, iron, magnesium, zinc, and folate. Low glycemic index. Anti-inflammatory. Studied by peer-reviewed journals worldwide. You can grow it at home. It prefers cool climates. Direct seed in spring. Grows 4 to 6 feet tall with dramatic seed heads in red, orange, and gold. One 10 by 10 foot bed can supplement your family's diet for months. Rinse before cooking to remove the natural bitter coating. That is the only extra step growing your own requires. This crop survived 500 years of intentional erasure. It deserves a place in your garden. CROP 8. Stinging Nettle. It stings if you handle it carelessly. It nourishes you if you treat it with respect. Nettle was eaten during both world wars. Viking sailors carried it on voyages. Highland Scottish families gathered it in early spring. It has one of the longest continuous records of human use of any plant in the temperate world. Dried nettle is roughly 25% protein by weight. High in vitamins A, C, and K, iron, calcium, and potassium. Research has explored its role in reducing inflammation, supporting kidney function, and inhibiting histamine production, meaning it may help with seasonal allergies. Plant it in a contained bed or large pot because it spreads aggressively. After that, it requires no maintenance. It returns every spring. You can harvest it multiple times per season. Blanch the leaves 60 seconds in boiling water, and the sting is completely gone. Use it anywhere you would use spinach, soups, eggs, pasta, pesto, tea. One plant every spring. For the rest of your life. CROP 9. Sweet potato leaves. Most people grow sweet potatoes and throw away half the crop without realizing it. The vines and leaves are one of the most nutritious leafy vegetables in existence. In sub-Saharan Africa, they are eaten daily. In Japan, South Korea, and the Philippines, they are standard vegetables. The Western world is the only place this knowledge largely disappeared. Research in the Journal of Agricultural and Food Chemistry found that sweet potato leaves carry higher antioxidant activity than spinach and kale. Rich in vitamins K, C, and B6, beta-carotene, iron, and chlorogenic acid, a compound associated with heart health and blood sugar regulation. You can harvest the leaves throughout the entire growing season without hurting the root development. In fact, some studies suggest moderate harvesting actually improves root yield. One plant, two crops, running simultaneously all season long. You have probably only ever taken half of what it was offering you. Crop 10. Perennial Kale. Tree collards. Everything on this list is good. This one is different, because this is not just about nutrition. It is about a completely different relationship with your garden. Perennial kale, also called tree collards or walking stick kale, does not die at the end of the season. It grows as a woody shrub, 4 to 6 feet tall, and in mild climates it produces leaves year-round. In harsher climates, it returns from the root every spring. Documented specimens in parts of Europe have been growing in the same spot for over 20 years. Before commercial agriculture standardized the annual varieties, perennial kale was the norm across northern Europe. Cottage gardens in Wales, Ireland, and Scotland grew it continuously. Families harvested it through winter when nothing else was available. Propagated through cuttings, the knowledge passed from one generation to the next until commercial seed production made the perennial forms invisible, and most people forgot they existed. Nutritionally, it matches standard kale, vitamins K, C, and A, high calcium, and significant sulforaphane, the compound most studied for its potential anti-cancer properties. But the real reason number 10 is life-changing is this: you plant it once, and then it simply continues. February, when nothing else is growing. November, when the annuals are long gone. year after year without asking you to start over. That is a different kind of self-reliance. Not just growing food for a season, investing in something that will still be feeding your family a decade from now. Plant it once, harvest it forever. 10 crops, one idea that connects all of them. Every time in history that the food supply broke down, war, depression, drought, collapse, the families who were fine were not the ones who depended most on the system. They were the ones who still knew how to grow their own food. That knowledge never became wrong. It just became inconvenient for an industry that needs you to keep buying. Now I want to hear from you. Are you Team Quinoa or Team Amaranth? Have you already been growing any of these? Or is one of them on your list to try this season? Tell me in the comments. If you are not subscribed yet, now is the time. Every week we bring back the practical knowledge the modern world quietly set aside. We will see you in the next one.